with those babies. And to also lead.
Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone on today? We are going to be talking about chapter 3, preparing to walk with ease. Preparing to walk with ease. Now, we have covered chapter 1, we've covered chapter 2, and now we have to get into chapter 3. And chapter 3 is a good chapter as well in this book, and we're coming from the Walk with Ease book, and we're talking about getting involved in a walking program or being able to walk. And if you've been sedentary and you've been inactive, then this is a good start for you. And so walking for exercise isn't complicated. You start a walking program by starting to walk. That's how you start a walking program. However, if you're like most people who begin an exercise program, starting is only half the battle. Good intentions usually aren't enough to keep people going for long. So I encourage you to get involved, and if you can't join in this video, then catch it on the replay. I want to just say welcome, welcome, welcome to whoever is going to come on in the chat or in the bushes. But don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and to share the video, because we definitely need to take care of the temple that God has given us to dwell in it temporarily. Now, after just 6 months, nearly half of all those who started exercising have dropped out, and another third will have quit by the end of the first year. So real long-term success at sticking with an exercise program almost always take more than simply having good intentions. It takes knowledge, it takes preparation, it takes some basic information about exercise, knowing about exercise, and a plan. And if you have a plan and you want to start a walking program, 6 weeks, stick with it. That is the model that I came up with. Stick with it for 6 weeks. And if you can stick with it, guess what? You are motivated to keep going. You want to get ahead of the game because you know we're going into the holidays, and some people want to get in shape. Some people have not been doing anything and want to get started. Some people want to be able to eat what they want to eat and not gain weight or maintain their weight. And some people want to lose weight. And some people just want to get in shape to bring down and maintain their blood sugars, the glucose, high blood pressure, maintaining that, and just simply cholesterol levels, but just simply being healthy. Now, in this chapter, we're going to talk about choosing shoes, socks, and clothes to keep you comfortable, planning your walk program so it's fit, FITT, and then choosing where to walk and developing a walking plan. And you can also do these activities: make your walking plan, start your walking diary, and do a self-check to review your progress. Okay, so choosing the right shoes, socks, and clothes. But before we get into this, I want to share with you a Walk with Ease participant. It's really important to keep your shoes
Looking, all made up and crazy looking was kids. Because they
It's really important to keep your shoes up to date. Don't take a chance with your shoes. Make sure they fit well. You will notice the difference. And that's from a Walk with These participant. And like I was saying on our previous video, it is important to have good shoes. It is important to have, good socks on, good shoes on. You want to be comfortable when you're out there walking, and you want to protect your feet. And if your feet are protected and your feet are comfortable and feel good, then your whole body will, and you won't have to do so much recovering when you return from your walk. And remember, don't go don't go farther than what you can do to come back. Because remember, when you start walking, you have to come back. There may not be anybody out there to give you a ride home. So when you start walking, one foot in front of the other, you have to remember that you have to be able to walk back and not be, so tired that you cannot make it back home. So one of the greatest things about walking is that you don't need a lot of equipment. All you really need are 3 things: a pair of sturdy, comfortable shoes, a pair of socks that have good cushioning, and comfortable clothing. Now, shoes that well-fitting, comfortable shoes are crucial for walking, because the biomechanics, efficient body movements of walking are different from those for other activities. You shouldn't use just any athletic type of shoe you happen to have around. To provide the best support and help prevent injuries, you should get a good pair of shoes that are comfortable for walking. And walking shoes, they are New Balance makes a good walking shoe, but you know what? There's Skechers, there's Nike, there's Adidas, there's Puma. There's a lot of different, there's Reebok shoes out there for you and any other brands, but you want to make sure that the brand that you pick is good for you to be able to walk in and be comfortable. Now, what's good when it comes to picking out shoes? Well, let us see. Let's see what's good. According to the American Physical Therapy, they have some recommendations. And if you want to go to their website, it's www.apta.org. Now, your shoes should provide good support, be comfortable, and not make your feet hurt. If your feet are hurting, then those are not good shoes for you to be walking in. Good walking shoes, they don't have to be expensive to be good. They don't have to be expensive. And they're available in a lot of stores in a variety of prices. Now, Consumers Union publishes at Consumer Reports, and I don't know how many of you still read the Consumer Reports, but they give you, information about what's out there, what the ratings are, and usually stats on it, and how good they are and how they work for people, and usually people give reviews on those products. Now, you can also probably find it at your local library. Consumer Reports, they used to have a book out. I haven't looked at it in a long time, but they used to have a book out there that I would get, and I would read out of the book, and even had cars in there. You could go and pick out, look, whatever you were interested in. The Consumer Reports pretty much had it in their book. Now, and there's other groups that do annual evaluations of walking shoes as well. Now, these can give you some good ideas, but use those ratings only as a guide, because just because it's a rating doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Every shoe and every foot is different, just like every body is different. So, every shoe is not going to work. And so when someone says, well, you should try this because it worked for me, but you have to remember that every foot and every body is different. So if you tried that shoe and said, no, it just doesn't work for me, but these work for me, then go with what is comfortable for you and walk around in it. Get the shoe home, walk around on the carpet with it. So, because if you walk outside with it, a lot of stores sometimes will not allow you to return if you go outside. So a lot of times it's good to walk around in the store, get comfortable, come home, jump up and down in the shoe if you have to. Really stretch your foot around, move your foot up and down and around. And those are good foot exercises as well. Compare prices and do a little research to find the right pair of shoes for you to begin on your walking journey. Now, here's the shoe checklist. Look for these things when you're deciding what shoes to wear for walking. The insole. The insole should match the arch of your foot. Now, the sole should be made from a foam material for cushioning, and it should bend at the forefoot rather than the midfoot. And the heel should be made from a foam material to provide shock absorption, because your heel can get plantar fasciitis, and you definitely want to protect your heel. You don't want a bruised heel, and you don't want a heel that when you walk and step down, because some people are toe walkers, some are ball walkers, and some are heel walkers. So you have to be careful with that. Now, the heel should be made from a foam material. I just said that, to provide shock absorption. Heel grip. The heel grip should hold the heel snugly in place. A padded cuff at the top opening may provide a firmer grip and cause less friction on the skin. So you want to make sure that you have a good heel grip, because sometimes shoes will be too big in the heel and your heel continues to slip, and you don't want that. And shoe material. Breathable materials such as leather and cotton canvas are preferable to synthetics or plastic. And then the toe box. The toe box should provide plenty of wiggle room for the toes in both depth and width. So if you have long toenails, you might want to clip them, or if you have long toenails and choose not to clip them, you may have to go upper size in the shoe to protect your toenails, to keep them from getting a fungus or bruised, because if your toenails are too long, they can definitely become a problem, and you can notice some discoloration on the top of your toe. So you want to be very careful with the width and depth of your shoes as well. And then you want a proper fit. Always try on both shoes with the same type of socks you will be wearing when walking. If you use any orthotic supports, fit them in the shoes before deciding. Shoes should fit you comfortably, have a snug heel fit so the heel doesn't slip, and have a roomy toe box, enough room to allow your toes to spread out. There should be a thumb's width between the end of your longest toe and the end of the shoe. Keep shop for shoes at the end of the day when your feet tend to be at their largest size. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Welcome back. Welcome back. Now, closures. Shoes with laces let you adjust as needed and give more support than slip-on shoes. If you have problems tying laces, consider Velcro closures or elastic shoelaces. And there's nothing wrong with those type of shoes if you're having trouble bending over to tie your shoes. Now, when you replace your shoes, probably sooner than you think, most people wait too long. Shoes might look great from the outside for years, but the insides will lose at least a third of their ability to support and absorb shock, and the soles will begin to deteriorate after about 500 miles to 600 miles of walking. Now, I still have a lot of tennis shoes, a lot of different type of tennis shoes, walking shoes, slip-on shoes, running shoes, and I love when I get a good pair of shoes, I don't like to give them up. But I realize that I have to eventually give them up because with all of the running and all of the walking, they eventually will start to deteriorate in the cushion, and you can tell the difference. So pay attention to shoes that you have had for years that you have used. And so you want to make sure that those shoes are, you're not walking in them or running in them because they have had their mileage, I'm pretty sure. And so you want to make sure that you are not out there walking in shoes that are going to do harm or injury to your feet. Now, and it might not seem a lot, 500 to 600 miles, but really is when you get into it. And for example, a walker who takes 30-minute walks 3 times a week will need replacement shoes after about 9 to 12 months. If you're very consistent walking 3 times a week for 30 minutes, and the insoles probably will need replacement even sooner. So usually every couple of months for people who walk regular, this is important for shock absorption. So don't continue to wear shoes or insoles when they're worn out. Your body will feel the negative effects, okay? And then socks. Next to your shoes, socks are your feet's best friend. Now, you're not going to wear slack socks or nylon, knee highs, like knee-high pantyhose stockings type. You're not going to use those when you're walking to go walking. Those are for your dress shoes, your sandals or whatnot, those are not good. You want to have a decent pair of athletic socks that are cushioned to keep your feet cool and dry, as well as properly cushioned when you walk. And I noticed that some socks are thinner, but they're not for exercise. So you want to make sure you have good exercise socks. And as with shoes, don't wear just any socks when you walk or do any other form of exercise. And we're going to get to the checklist, the sock checklist. Now, clothes. With the right clothes, you should be able to walk all seasons of the year. Now, clothes should be comfortable, simple, and efficient, right? Choices range from simple, loose-fitting t-shirts, shorts, or sweatsuits to stretch-type walking shorts and tights. And we are going to see the clothes checklist as well. Now, pick the right sock material. Many walkers prefer padded socks made from a blend of acrylic fiber and cotton or wool. The acrylic wicks away perspiration from your skin, and the cotton or wool then absorbs it so your feet stay drier and more comfortable. Now, where to? Let's see, for some blister-prone people, wearing 2 pairs of socks can eliminate rubbing. Now, me personally do not like to wear 2 pairs of socks because that's too much and it feels uncomfortable for me. So I just get a good pair of socks, athletic socks, to go and fit well in my shoes. And when your socks, one of the things too is important is socks do thin out over a period of time of wearing and washing and walking around in them and things like that. So it's important to check your socks, the wear and tear. And if they're not thick like they used to be, you may want to replace those socks or not wear those socks anymore when you're out going walking or exercising. Now, watch for wear. Like it says, if your socks wear through in the toes, the problem is your shoes. Either the shoes are too short or your foot is sliding forward each step. That's a possibility. And match sock fit with shoe fit. Take your walking socks when you go to purchase your shoes to help you get a better fit. Now, make sure that you buy the right size. So if you are a size 8 shoe, you do not want to buy a size 4 to 6 sock. That is too small for your foot. So you want to make sure that you get the right size sock when to fit your foot. Now, dress as warmly as necessary for the weather. Now, some people are already, Now, some people are already experiencing cold weather. Now, where I'm at in my climate, we're starting to cool down mornings, which I like that a lot. But we want to make sure that we are dressed for the weather. So I always, when it gets cold here, I dress in layers, and that helps me to dress in layers, like a t-shirt or undershirt up under my long sleeve running shirt or walking shirt, extra, activity shirt, and then a hood, my hoodie, and I always wear like a hat or cap, like a running cap, because that helps, or a beanie that's comfortable for you. And they do sell athletic caps, running caps, which is cool. I like them. I came across them. I usually catch mines on sale, like that, when you can get them in Ross, Marshalls, Burlington, TJ Maxx. But I usually find my running caps and hats and stuff at Ross. They're pretty inexpensive. And sometimes, like, I think if you have a WSS shoe store in your location, they sometimes will have pretty good sales. But most of the time, like I said, I do the discount stores that carry name brands. So a couple of my running hats is like Nike, Adidas, only because they were cheap. And I'm like, why not get the better quality, right? Okay, so dress as warmly as necessary, think layers. And the most efficient way to maintain a comfortable body temperature is by wearing layers of clothing. Because if you get too warm, you can take your hoodie off, tie it around your waist, and you're still good, right? So you want to be able to do that. And if you're cold, you're cold, you can put the hoodie back on. But that's why it's important to dress in layers. And it helps you maintain a constant temperature because the air between layers captures your body heat. If you get too hot, you can remove items of clothing one layer at a time. It is better to start out with too many clothes and remove layers as you go than to be underdressed and too cool to continue walking. Because when you get cold, you are cold. And if your hands, like my hands, gets cold in the fall and winter, when the temperature starts to drop. So I wear gloves when I go running. I wear gloves to keep my hands cold, so I have no reason to want to go back home or stop and turn around. And I notice my hands can get very cold. So I make sure I have gloves on, because one of the things about our hands, if they get really cold, you don't want to start getting hypothermia, and your tips start to get cold, and then they hurt. And you don't want that to happen. Even if your hands start to warm up when you get back and you rubbing them together, it can be very painful. So you want to be careful about that as well. Now, this also helps you to adjust to your surroundings if part of your walk is outdoors and part is indoors. Now, let's do this clothes checklist. We're going to go over the clothes checklist. Choose clothes that allow free movement. Clothing should allow you to move through the full range of your walking stride without binding, restricting movement, or pulling. Pants or shorts should fit comfortably in the waist and not bind in the leg or crotch. So you want to make sure that your clothes fit comfortably. You don't need to go out in some skin tight clothes, because it's going to be uncomfortable for you. You don't want something so tight on your waist. You don't want that. You want clothes that are comfortable for you, that you can move in comfortably. You can get that stride on and really get out there and get your walk on, and then get back home to finish up whatever your day consists of, right? And you want to select lightweight, absorbent material. You want material that will absorb any perspiration, and another thing about tight clothes, you don't want to wear tight clothes. As women, we want to make sure that we don't develop any rashes, and we don't develop any type of infections, in our female anatomy parts, because that is very important. Because sometimes women wear really tight clothes and they wind up having problems. You don't want that as well. Good morning, Miss Casey. And you don't want that. So you want to be comfortable, and you want clothes that absorb material. So made of cotton is always comfortable and absorbs perspiration. And one of the other things is that, and we have to be, honest, we're adults here, and we're talking about clothes checklist, and also the right undergarments. And I'm seeing it right here now. So we're going to get into that as well about the right undergarments. But anyway, garments with supplex, uh, polypropylene, and fleece are are lightweight, draw moisture away from your skin, and provide insulation against the wind. Now, when Sears was in, before they closed their doors, I got a very nice jacket, a fleece jacket out of Sears. Matter of fact, more than one, and they were really reasonable because they were, just had this great sale going. And remember when Sears had the rewards, if you remember that, and you shopped at Sears. And so I was able to get quite a few things for free. So I really didn't pay for any of those jackets that I actually got from Sears. So they have some pretty good jackets, Sears, and every now and then you can find some decent jackets or windbreakers from J.C. Penney's. But Sears was one of the stores that I was able to get a few nice jackets from, the fleece jackets. Now, now the right undergarments. Wear the right undergarments. Women should wear a comfortable bra that provides good support, or a sports bra. If you've never worn a sports bra, try one. You might like the support. Now, let me explain something to you about sports bras. Like for me, I like the sports bras that at a certain brand, because you can go to a store like at again, Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, Burlington, and they have all type of matching sports bras. And those don't work for me, but they might work for you or anybody else. But for me, they don't work for me. So what I have to do is actually purchase a sports bra that I would normally, like if I'm going to buy some new bras, undergarments, meaning those type of bras. Then what I do is I see if that particular brand do they make sports bras. And so some of my sports bras are made by the people that I know, the bras I normally purchase. And they're expensive. I'm not going to tell you a story. Mines are expensive. And when I was growing up, my mom purchased me Playtex. And I feel like I was always a little busty. So for me growing up, and so my mom always bought me good bras. She said that was always important. So I can't wear the Victoria's Secret bras. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I can't do those. I have to wear, this other brand that's a really good brand. And so that's how I get my bras. And I actually one time came across a sports bra for $7 at Ross. And it was the same brand that I wear. I was so scoped because these bras are like $65 on up. So you can look in the discount stores and search through them. Some people don't like to, but if you can find some really good bras, but always have a good bra when you work out, because you don't want your chest bouncing up and down. It's really uncomfortable. And you want to have good support. So when you're working out, you want to make sure that you're toning up as well. When you're out there walking or lifting weights, whatever you're doing, stretching, you want to make sure you're toning up and you're not making your breasts do more damage by, having, sagging, because that can probably, you don't want to, sag. So you want to enhance, and you want them to look down. Now, as we grow older, we get older, we don't always have the perky ones, but good bras work. And making sure you wear good bras when you work out is very, very important. Okay. And it gives you support. So you definitely don't want to be out there with your stuff jumping up and down, whether you're a jogger, power walker, or you're lifting weights. You want your stuff to have good support. Okay. Because we have to protect ourselves and protect what God has blessed us with and given us. And that's what I can say about that. And just being that I've been working out for years, and stuff like that. I've done it all pretty much. And so sports bras are a really good bra to have. But again, if you can do the sports bras, the Reeboks and Adidas that they sell, the Nikes and stuff, some people can, and they have no problem with that. But for me, I need good support. Now, and then you want to wear bright or reflective clothing. It is a good idea to wear reflective clothing or a vest with reflectors when you're walking outdoors. even in daylight hours, so that oncoming cars and trucks can see you. And that's what I was talking about yesterday, is wearing reflective clothing. And if you're a person that likes to walk in the evening when you get off work, or you're waiting for other family members to walk together, you all want to be safe, and reflective clothing is a good thing. Now, I have some running shoes, two pair that I bought some time ago, Asics. I love Asics running shoes. They don't make these particular this particular style anymore, but they still produce the brand. And so my shoes glow in the dark. And I'll tell you a little funny story really quickly. I was upstairs one day, and I walked past something that was glowing in the dark, and it must have scared me out of my wits. And guess what it was? My running shoes. They were glowing in the dark. I went in my laundry room, and they was up on the shelf. And I was like, oh my God. And then one time I was in my living room walking through a hallway. And it just scared me, because I really didn't, it caught me off guard. Like, what in the world is that glowing? We don't have ghosts here, right? And it was just my running shoes. And I was like, oh my God, but really it scared the mess out of me. And I was like, and it did. And it wasn't just one time it happened. It was 3 different times in different locations in my house, because I had washed my shoes and put them up on the shelf, and it was dark, and I went in the laundry room to turn, and oh my God, and then walking through the hallway. And if you're like sleep and you wake up and you want to go get something to drink, or you're going to the bathroom, it was like crazy. And I was like, oh, so now when I see them, I'm like, oh, it's just, it's just my shoes, just my running shoes. But it scared me though. I'll tell you, it really did scare me until I realized that's what they were. So anyway, 3 layers are generally recommended when you're going to, and getting back to the layers of clothes, is that the inner layer allows for absorption of moisture from the skin, and depending on the material, may pass moisture on to the next layer. Women should always wear a cotton blended bra, which is usually enough of an inner layer during warmer months, and then the middle layer provides warmth and some protection from wind and cold. Now, the outer layer is necessary when walking in colder weather. It should be resistant to wind and rain. So that's good. So if you have an outer jacket, your outerwear should be resistant to rain. You don't want to get soaked and wet if it starts raining while you're out on your walking journey. Stick with it journey. You definitely don't want to be out there when it starts raining and get soaked. So if you're out there, you want something that will not, have you soaking wet by the time you get back home, because we also want to make sure that we're not out there getting sick, get back home and then a day or two later, you're feeling bad with a sore throat, runny nose, and things like that. So we still want to, protect ourselves, allow sweat to evaporate, and in cold temperatures, trap air to keep you warm. Now, nylon is a good material to wear for this layer. A zip or pullover jacket with or without a hood. And there are some jackets, excuse me, that the hood removes. There where you can buy a jacket and the hood comes, excuse me, the hood unzips and it comes off. And that will provide protection, and also is lightweight. And you want to wear a jacket that's not real heavy. You're not going to be out there with a fur coat on and things like that, but you want an athletic jacket that you can run in, that you can walk in, that you can swiftly move in, that's comfortable for you, is lightweight, but it still gives you, that the benefits of what I just discussed, keeping the warmth in, protecting you from the wind and rain, but it's still not real bulky and heavy. And so also in the coldest months, as I was saying earlier, a hat and possibly a face mask. You could even, those masks that you could just pull over and pull up like this, and you can come up like this. You can wear those and to protect your nose so that you don't get a lot of air up in your nostrils as you're out here walking. And then it should be worn to maintain body heat and protect your face against wind and cold, because you don't want to get what do they call it, when the wind hits your face like that, and it starts to dry out your skin, and your skin kind of starts peeling. You don't want that to happen and stuff like that. So you want to protect your beautiful, beautiful skin. All of you all are beautiful. We're beautiful in our own way. And that's why I say the beauty of color. And we want to protect ourselves. We want to maintain and preserve ourselves. And then mittens or gloves should be worn to keep the hands warm, is what I was saying, is to keep your hands warm. Okay, and then there's other helpful things you might use. Although we've said that the only things you really need to get you walking are the right shoes, socks, and clothing. But here are a few other things you might consider using that can make your walking safer and more enjoyable. Now, a watch with second hand or stopwatch to measure how many minutes of walking you're doing. And some people have it on a phone now app, an app on your phone, and you can check it that way. My brother is a runner. He runs every day. He's on Instagram. He does a lot of reels. He's a sprinter like me. He is, but he's him and his wife. I mean, like, and she's a sprinter, and his kids is in the running, long distance sprint. I mean, they are truly amazing. He's a year old, actually like 8 months older than me, but he's truly amazing. And he's been running for years. My brother, when he was a teenager in high school, his left lung collapsed. And I was so distraught because me and him were like this, and we're still close. And so they told him he would never run again. But he's still running. He didn't give up. And so he did never give up. And he's a strong runner. And so he actually, during his younger years, he made the Olympics trials. He didn't make it all the way, but he did make the Olympic trials. And a lot of people, when I tell them that we grew up and we actually competed against Jackie Joyner Kersey. And this is very true. And some of the pro bowlers, football players that have, now retired, our school played football against Eastside High and also Lincoln and Illinois. And so we played basketball against them. And Jackie Joyner, I believe, a freshman at the time, and we played ball against their high school. So we know some of those athletes, but my brother was pretty close with Jackie at one time. And so they became kind of good friends for a minute there, but we were all into sports. And so I just praise God that I can still get up each day and get out here and praise God that I can bring this to an audience that is appreciative to listen, because we do need to take care of ourselves. And, and whatever choices people make is strictly up to them. But I thank people for engaging, and people that want to get on a program. And I was told, hey, I want to get back to walking, I need to. And so God placed this on my heart to come out here and say, hey, let's get some information. Let's put this information out here. I have a book, and this is a good book to share. And it really gives us information that we probably might overlook. Okay. So we also want a pedometer. If you have a pedometer is good to measure how many steps you walk. Generally, 1 mile is about 2,000 average steps. So if you have a shorter stride, 1 mile is about 2,400 steps. And for a longer one, it's about 1,900 steps. So if you have a stride, like I walk fast, and then some people say you have to slow down. So I have to remember to slow down because I'm just a fast walker. Anyway, I can go to the mall and walk the mall fast, and I'm out window shopping. It is weird. And I have to kind of remind myself, hey, you're just out shopping. You're leisurely walking, so slow down. And so then there's a walking cane or stick for balance and joint support if you need that. And it could be recommended by your healthcare practitioner. And then a fanny pack or small purse to carry miscellaneous items like, the fanny packs, keys, identification, cell phone, money, and a plastic water bottle. Now, what's important is to have your keys, because if you drive to a location to park, like at a park that's a trail, or if you're going up to the lake or a dam or something, you want to be able to have a place to put your keys that are not going to be bulky in your pocket if you don't have pockets, or or in your jacket zip up. Like this hoodie has a zip up pocket on the side. You can't really see it, but it's on the side here on both sides. Now, and then you also want identification. Take your ID with you in case something happens or you have a medical emergency. They can identify you right away. Okay. And then a cell phone in case there's an emergency, something happens. You want to be able to call 911 or a family member, with a cell phone. You need to do that. And then have some money with you. Have a couple of dollars with you. You just never know what you might need that money for. Never leave home without some change in your pocket, especially if you're going to be driving somewhere, a little farther away from your home. And then a plastic water bottle to stay hydrated. And then a hat or visor on sunny days. You want to protect your face, your skin. And if you see any type of moles on your face, something unusual, abnormal, you want to make sure you watch that and then make sure to have it checked out. Because you want to be able to protect your face from the sun. And on cold days, a warm hat or earmuffs to help you keep warm. I think what is it called? Wind burn, when the wind, gets to your skin and stuff. And the other thing is to put on sunscreen. Sunscreen will help protect your face as well in the sun. And then the other thing is sunglasses to reduce eye strain and eye damage and protect your eyes from the UV rays, okay? And then sun protection, like I said, is important. The Skincare Foundation recommends using sunscreen for all outdoors activities all year round. Put sunscreen on all exposed body parts. Don't forget your neck and ears as well, because when I went into the military and I didn't have any sunscreen on and we was out marching, and all the time in basic training, I wind up with sunburn on my face, and my skin right in here started peeling and stuff like that, was peeling really bad and stuff like that. So, and because they didn't provide sunscreen when we were out there doing basic training. And so I went through a lot with that. And even with, because I was in Orlando for my basic training, Florida, and you know what, it rains a lot there. So we were out there in the rain, marching and doing drills and all of that stuff in the rain. And then the sun would come out, and man, I didn't even realize it. I was young then and I didn't realize it, but now I understand better. And that's why a lot of times you all see me and I come on, I have a hat on because I'm getting ready to go work out, or I just came back and I probably just forgot to take the hat off when I come back. But I wear a lot of hats to protect, hats, that bucket hats and things to protect my face. And that's important for us as Black people. We want to protect our skin. And even though we say that Black don't crack, we still want to protect our skin, okay? And so planning your program of FITT exercise, FITT, are the initials they use for the principles of what is necessary to get the most benefit from your exercise. FITT stands for frequency, how often you exercise; frequency, intensity is how hard; time, the duration, how long you're out there exercising; and the type, what kind of exercise are you doing? FITT. So there's frequency, intensity, time, and type. Okay. So if you're doing the Walk with Ease program on your own, you can feel confident about building a successful walking program by following the FITT recommendations, FITT, which were designed by exercise experts from the American College of Sports Medicine to help people become fitter, healthier, and more pain-free. Now, the F is for frequency. Let's just talk about what FITT, let's talk a little about that. So the F for frequency is, it refers to how often you walk or do another physical activity. The guidelines for people with arthritis recommend at least 30 minutes of walking on at least 5 days a week. Now, if you choose walking more, that is fine. If you can do more, you're motivated to do more, up to 7 days each week, especially if you're walking for short time segments. So that's okay. But you don't want to overdo it. Remember that. And you do want to take a break. So if you feel like you're getting tired, take one day off, a day of rest, do some other things like household chores or just something fun or some reading, catch up on some news or whatever, catch up on word finds, catch up on your Bible study reading, or things like that, or just catch up on hanging out with a friend, go to lunch, get your nails, hair, toes done, whatever that you do that you feel is going to take care of you and make you feel better to rejuvenate yourself when you get back to your program. But if you start to feel overexerted, take a break from that and take a break, let your muscles rest, let your feet rest, and then get back to it. Now, when you're able to go for walks of 30 minutes or longer, however, taking days off gives your body a chance to rest and adapt. Try to space your sessions throughout the week. For example, if you're walking and exercising 4 days a week, you might want to schedule your walks for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, rather than Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, followed by 3 days off. Now, if you walk 5 days per week, schedule a day off every 2 or 3 days. For example, you might walk on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. On days when you don't walk, continue to do your flexibility exercises. And we're going to talk more about that in chapter 5, but we have to do this one and then chapter 4. Now, you should do strengthening exercises 3 to 4 times a week. And do anyone remember what the flexibility exercises are? If you remember what I spoke about, Heal the Land has been here. So if you remember, put it in the chat. And if you don't, that's fine too. I will tell you what the flexibility exercises are, but I would like to see if you remember that. And now the intent, I is for intensity. Intensity refers to how much you're exerting yourself. That is how hard you are working. Now, the new guidelines for physical activity like walking recommend exertion at low to moderate intensity. What does low to moderate means? Low to moderate means, well, use your body's effort as a guideline. At low to moderate intensity, you will be working hard enough to feel some changes in your body, such as increased breathing, heart rate, or muscle use, but not so much that you become out of breath or that feel that it's too hard to keep up. So that's what the low to moderate exercise means. You want to still be able to, and even if you're out walking, you want to still be able to have a conversation while you're walking with someone. Okay. And if exercise is too high in intensity, what you've described as hard or to very hard is most likely is too fast or too challenging for your level of fitness right now. And the more you exercise, the more you'll build up and you'll get to a certain level. Your levels of exercise as you progress should be able to go to the next level. You should be able to progress in that. So if you're out of breath, then you're doing too much, and just slow down some. And don't ever let anyone make you think that you need to overexert yourself. There's nothing wrong with pushing yourself, but don't overexert yourself. And then very high intensity exercise almost causes discomfort, certainly increases your risk of injury, and you're much more likely to stop doing it regularly. So again, go at your own pace and build as you go and be consistent. That's the other important thing, is being consistent. And so measuring your intensity as you exercise helps you monitor yourself for safety so that you don't overdo it. It also helps to keep track of your progress from week to week. Doing this doesn't have to be complicated. You can give yourself a talk test while you're exercising. That is, can you exercise and still talk normally to someone else? Or rate how hard you're exercising on a scale of 1 to 10. For most people, these informal measures work just fine, especially in the beginning. Take your pulse. Taking your pulse is another way to measure yourself. And chapter 5, we're going to talk about complete guidelines on all of these techniques. Now, let's stop for a moment before we get into the T for time. We have another Walk with Ease participant, and they say, my goal when I started the Walk with Ease program was to stay in the program. But after I finished the program, my goal is to continue what I have started. And that's why I said stick with it for 6 weeks. If you can stick with it for 6 weeks, your goal after that might be to say, you know what? Excuse me, I'm motivated to keep going. I'm motivated to make this a habit, to make this a lifestyle. And habits can be broken, but if you make it a habit to a lifestyle, because we know habits are meant to be broken, and people develop habits and then they change their habits. But I will tell you that walking is a good habit that you want to keep, and you don't want to break that habit. Once you get into it, you want to keep that habit because it's a good habit. Now, T for time. Time is the duration, refers to how many times you spend walking or doing another physical activity. How much time should you spend walking? The new guidelines recommend at least 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise at least 5 times a week. Now, I want to stop here for a moment, and I just want to put in here frequency, intensity, time, and type. Okay, that is what and I'm going to put this in here, FITT equals this right here. Frequency, the frequency of how often you exercise, the intensity, what's your level, low, moderate, high, and the time you do it, the duration, how often, and the type of exercise that you are doing. Okay, that's what FITT stands for. So here's very important tips about your walking time. If 30 minutes at a time is too much for you to start with, remember that your 30 minutes don't have to be done all at once to get health benefits. You can break it up. Remember, we talked about that, especially in the beginning. Start breaking it up. And to get 30 minutes of activity on your exercise days, you could walk 30 minutes all at once. And that's what I normally do. I go more than 30 minutes. I am gone for quite a time because I've been walking forever. I was a runner and I still run every now and then. But I like the fact that I can power walk because it's less trauma on your body. And, I can appreciate that as I get older. And so I am more of a person that wants to walk, run, do sprints. I will run on my treadmill. I will do sprints on my treadmill, and I will pick up a jog when I'm out there. But mainly I like to power walk because I appreciate the less trauma on my body as a woman. Okay. And you could walk 30 minutes all at once, or 15 minutes twice a day, or 10 minutes 3 times a day. And remember what I was saying yesterday, you can break up your 30 minutes. And if you have a lunchtime where you could do or break time, 10 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes, depending on your employer and how much break time that you receive under your policy, you know, with your employer, you can do 10 minutes and then do another 10, like your first break, your second break, and you might want to do 10 minutes on your lunch hour, so you still have time to sit down and take a break away from your job, your chaos, because you know lunch is important to get away from what you're doing, and you know, and just reflect and be able to have that moment. This is my lunch. I'm going to read. I'm going to go take my 10-minute walk, come back. I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to go back to work rejuvenated. You know, and this is not just, it's a benefit. You're walking, it's a lifestyle, and it benefits a lot of things in your life, not just to lose weight, not just for this or that, but guess what? It helps you maintain an emotional, healthy balance about yourself and mental state. So those things are important. And remember, it helps with your anxiety, you know, it helps with depression. And like I said yesterday, if it doesn't, then maybe you need to see, you know, a licensed provider for that, if it gets to be where you can't, get out of that stump or slump that you're in. But walking really is a good benefit. And I encourage that for, people to start out, you know, and if you want to jog and I can run, hey, whatever you feel is best for you. But walking, it really is a lot of good benefits for you. So the goal for the cardiovascular exercise like walking is to gradually build your endurance and ability to go for a longer time. Begin slowly with short distance or take several short walks a day until you can build up to longer distances and periods of time. And as a long-term goal, this walking program will help you build up to at least 30 minutes a session for at least 3 days a week. However, if pain is a problem, it's okay to stay with shorter segments, okay? And then T is for a type of exercise. Different types of physical activities that work different muscle groups contribute to a well-rounded exercise program. And the Walk with Ease program includes flexibility, stretching, strengthening, and cardiovascular exercises. See chapter, and we went to chapter 2. So in chapter 2, we talked about flexibility in chapter 2. Chapter 2 was really good, and we talked about the flexibility here. And so flexibility, and so it's you want to do these strengthening exercises to maintain the range of motion and the strength of supporting muscles necessary for everyday activities. The flexibility, being able to, that stretching and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that that's what you're doing. And so, and that's when I said, before you start your exercise program, stretch, make sure that you're stretching. And then at the end of your exercise, cooling down and stretching as well. And always breathe during your exercise. Okay. So combining these types of exercise can help build endurance, flexibility, overall fitness. And if you keep doing them on a regular basis, remember to reduce your risk of injury, work at a pace that is comfortable for you. And that's what I always say, because there's some people out here that will try to, put a battery in your back. But remember, it's at your pace and what's comfortable for you. And at each level, the more you do it, you will build up and, go to different levels, but always what's comfortable for you, because I don't want to see anyone get injured, and say that they got injured doing something. And build up slowly in each type of exercise you do. Now, there are some people that are very competitive, so you want to be careful with that if you are one of those competitive people. I'm competitive, but I still do what's best for me, okay? Now, choosing a good place to walk. There are many places to walk that are free, and many may be easily accessible. So you can walk places that are free. Like I said, if you walk by your house in your community, if you live near a lake, a dam, let's see, a sports complex, a park, or a trail. And a lot of the now, a lot of time, not a lot of new communities are building trails, right? Which is a good thing. And we just got some new trails by my house, and I was so stoked. I was telling my neighbors, have you tried the new trail? I was so happy. And they even built like this bridge, because they built a new community that they're still working on across the street from my house. And so they built a bridge that goes across, because that bridge didn't used to be there, because there was a trail on the other side. But you couldn't get to it because it was a like a viaduct type of thing. And they built two bridges, and I'm so scoped, and it's a bike trail as well. So I was all excited about that. And I just thank God for the blessings that our city is doing. And so with the older communities, I saw that they started building trails. Even in the older communities, they started building trails. And so I'm very excited about that. And I'm still, and because being on a trail to me is much safer than being on a main road. You can be on the sidewalk, so don't walk in the street. If there's a sidewalk, stay on this course, stay on the sidewalk. And if it's a trail, stay on the trail. And there's a lot of signs and stuff that they will put up for you. But in a lot of the older communities, I started seeing that they were building trails as well. And because everyone deserves to walk, it doesn't matter if you live in a new community, an older community, it doesn't matter. Everyone deserves to have a safe place to walk and to get out and to exercise. Okay. And so that's so totally important. And so now begin slowly. I think we were right there. Oh no, we already did that. Okay. Okay. So it's important to choose a place that has a good walking surface. Why? Actually, the walking surface affects the intensity of the exercise you're getting, and it determines the impact. That is how hard your body is coming down on your feet and joints, and it also interacts with your balance. Now, one thing I'm going to say about walking is that that is actually a true statement about the surface of walking. I don't like walking on surfaces that have rocks. That's uncomfortable for me. And I don't like to run on surfaces like that. I like to run on like a little, it's like gravel, a little gravel mixed with sand, but it's a nice surface, or a black top, or something like that, because that's good. Now, if you're walking on a walkway, like a sidewalk, you're going to have cement, and that could be a little harder on your feet. But if you have good walking shoes and good socks, good support, a good support system on your feet, then you'll be fine. But I have a problem with certain surfaces I just don't like, and everybody has a preference. Some people like that, some people don't. Okay. And so and now why? Actually, the walking surface affects the intensity of the exercise you're getting, and it determines the impact. Right. That is how hard your body is coming down on your feet and joints. And it also interacts with your balance, because if you're on an uneven surface or a hilly surface and things like that, you have to be careful, because you can actually stumble on a uneven surface. And with the gravel and things like that, depending on the type of surface that you're on, it does interact with your balance. It definitely will, and the impact of your joints and your feet. Okay. So if you're doing the Walk with Ease program on your own, or you're walking at other times, that when your Walk with Ease group meets, it's important to try to choose a walking surface that is suitable for your ability. Consult the table to learn more about how the surface you choose can influence your success. So there's a table that we can talk about, and this chapter, we're going to finish this chapter because we have to, and then there are some things in the back that I will show you as far as your the forms. Okay, the forms. Okay, so sorry about that. Now, impact is a major consideration for many people who have arthritis, particularly in the hips or knees. So if you find that you're having pain that you think results from high impact, be sure that you're wearing shoes with insoles that absorb shock, and that you're walking on an appropriate level surface. Okay. And you may also want to use a walking stick or cane for additional support if you need to. And we will be talking about that in chapter 4 for suggestions about this. And then longer term, keeping your weight at a healthy level can help. And we talked about that, keeping your weight at a healthy level, because you don't want your knees to be hurting and things like that. And so it's important to keep your weight at a healthy level. And I declare to you all, I promise you that walking at least three times a week, 30 minutes a day, and watching what you eat in moderation, it will help you to lose weight, maintain weight, but you really will start to lose weight walking. I kid you not, it really is a good thing to walk. And if you are one of the people that need to lose weight and you are concerned about, knee pain and hip pain and foot pain and all of that, walking definitely can get you started. All it takes is to put one foot in front of the other. Now, if you find you still can't walk even very short distance without significant joint discomfort in your legs, even after following all precautions and using appropriate pain management strategies, then you probably should choose a form of cardiovascular exercise that avoids impact. That is, there is no or minimal stress placed on your hips, and this is something, or your knees or your feet. And one of the examples that you can do if you cannot walk and you're finding that it's very difficult or painful is a stationary bike. And I have a friend that had a hip replacement, so she rides her bike. She has a certain type of stationary, I think it's a elliptical bike, but she uses it, and she said it really helps her a lot. And so some people can't get out and walk; it bothers them, or a long period of time or short duration. So they have a stationary bike that they can use. So that can help you lose weight as well. It might take a little longer, but stationary bikes definitely help you. So I won't say that it does not. It's a good form of cardiovascular exercise. And when I go to the gym, and I was going on base until, they shut it down and they've been remodeling all that. So I just put that aside for now at the one gym. And then where I do aerobics is another gym in my city. So the base is not in my city, but the gym is. And so I was doing that, going to the gym, and I do aerobics, and they have a gym down there. But also I want to be careful because having COVID is not a joke. Okay. So that's that on that. So, but, a stationary bike is really good for you if you can do that. Now, if your hips are good and you can get to the gym, or you have if you have a stepper at your house, or you can get to the gym, steppers are good too. If you don't have any type of problems with your hips or your knees, steppers are a good cardiovascular exercise machine for you as well. Is a stepper. I like the stepper. It definitely burns weight and helps you as well. Now, where shall we walk? Let's talk about where shall we walk. Okay, that's important. Where shall we walk? Now, outdoors area, any neighborhood with sidewalks, as I was explaining to you earlier. Downtown is good if you live close to downtown. Outdoor shopping strips, outdoor shopping strips, parks, schoolyards, and tracks. Now, some schools will allow you to use their track. Now, the high school close to my house, they were letting us do it. Then all of a sudden they locked the gates. I guess they didn't want us up there no more, but I love their track. They had this brand new track. Oh, it felt so good to run on it. I was over there just running, having a good time. And then all of a sudden they locked the gates and you couldn't get in anymore. But I like the fact that they have a really nice track up there. Community walking trails, as I was saying, community walking trails. They suggest cemeteries here. Now, we have the National Cemetery, the Military National Cemetery, which is not too close to my house, but it's pretty decent. But I don't go there. You could, and you can get some good walking in over there, because when I do go to help volunteer to put flags on grave sites and things like that, that's good. But I get my exercise in over there when I'm doing that. Otherwise, I get my walk in on close to my house now because of the trails, and I'm pretty excited about that. And then if you're indoors, a lot of people do indoor walking at the malls, and I've seen that where the malls used to open up like an hour before the mall open, or 2 hours, and you could go to the mall before the stores open and you can walk the mall, which is a really good thing to do. I did that a couple of times. And then convention centers or large warehouse stores, or churches. My former church, you could walk around the parking lot, and that was a really good thing because it's a big enough church, they have a big enough ground where you could walk around the parking lot. And that's where we had our first pink walk, which is for breast cancer awareness. And we actually did that and set it up at our church. And like I told you, I led the exercise and everything, and it was so amazing. And I would love to do that again. And then there's the museums, your home or your office. So if you're at your office, like I said, get out and walk. Or if you can do it at your home, say you have a big enough yard, you can walk around your yard and do as many steps. And I've actually ran around my yard, jogged around my actual yard. I don't particularly like doing that because I like to get outside, but in my fenced yard, I'm able to do that. And it's interesting. And even in my house, the way my house is set up, I'm actually able to jog around. And one time I did that. I was outside with my dog running and it started raining. So I came home and I started jogging inside my house. And guess what? I did like 85 to 100 laps and I got dizzy. I was like, oh my God, because it's like a circle and I got dizzy. And I was like, I'm not doing that no more. I still did it, but I didn't do that many. I said, well, maybe if I don't do that many, I'll be all right. Just kind of crazy. But I try a lot of different things for exercise. So anyway, so developing your walking plan. So now that you've learned what makes for a fit exercise, and I put what FITT means, right? Frequency, intensity, time, and type. Okay, remember that FITT. And then and you've learned about what to wear, where to walk. It's time to make a plan. Now, research has shown that people who make plans of action and write them down and review them each week have greater success in meeting their goals than people that don't. So when you write stuff down, make a plan and write it down, it sticks with you. It mentally sticks with you. Okay. And you are more than likely to stick with your plan. Good morning, Miss Denise. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. We're talking about the Walk with Ease program that we're talking about, and it's stick with it is our motto. Stick with it. 6 weeks, stick with it. And it's the Walk of Ease. And I've been talking about this. So we're now on chapter 3. So I do have the other videos when you get a chance, if you haven't been able to watch them, to go back and to check those out because they're very, very good for you. Now, there are 6 principal parts to a walking plan that make it most effective. Making a contract with yourself about your walking goals. Now, remember, your contract is between you and you. It's not between everybody else. Your walking contract is between you. Setting up a goal with yourself. So you're making a contract with yourself. And then keeping records of your walking in a diary or a calendar. Some people use a calendar and mark on their calendar. And so if you have a calendar in your house that's personally for you, you can write on it. Or if you have one that everybody else uses, but you may want one where you're just using it personally for yourself. And then use self-measurement tools to check your progress. Checking your plan every week. You want to check in and see how your walking plan is going. And most importantly, deciding how to reward yourself for sticking to the program as for reaching your goals. And finally, keep going by making a new contract. Keep going by making a new contract. So when you make that new contract, it keeps you interested. It keeps you motivated. And when you're talking about rewarding yourself, there's nothing wrong with if you're trying to eat healthy and you have cut back on fried foods, you've cut back on sodas, you've cut back on sugary drinks, you've cut back on desserts or ice cream, or cake or brownies or cookies or pies, because, we know that sweets can be, something that we have an addiction to, or some people have an addiction to drinking sodas, so you want to get juices that have less sugar in them, less sugar, less calories. Drink, but you know what's important? Water. If you're not a person that like to drink water, start getting in the habit of drinking water. I guarantee you, once you get in the habit of drinking water, and filtered water actually is a good thing. Some people are getting away from bottled water. Like me, I have a breeder pitcher. Didn't spend that much for it. Bought it. I saw it on Instacart. Went to Best Bath and Beyond or whatever and got it. And it was like $20 for a $30 pitcher. And that's what I use now. You only have to replace the filter every so often. But the breeder pitcher, I love it. I have a glass bottle. I have all type of water bottles, but this particular glass bottle that I had bought a Voss drink in, it's glass. I pour my water in there, and that's what I drink before I leave my house, 1 to 2 of those. And then I leave my house, go do it, come back and drink some more. And those are, it's very good. I like water in a glass. Some people water out of the faucet is good to drink, like my mother's where she lives. Good, wonderful. You drink it all day. That's a good thing. And it helps your skin too. We can drink out the faucet when I go home to visit my mom, but here the water, I have to have some type of filtered water. So again, I'm getting away from bottled water. If I have to take a bottled water, you know what I do? I don't even take the bottled water. I just pour water into the my filter water into there, and that's really good. So you want to be very important. But getting back to the rewards, okay? So if you're trying to get away from sweets, there's nothing wrong with maybe a peppermint, if you need to do that, or okay, we used to have to do that too at one point. You boil your water, right? And some people do that still, boil your water. But getting a peppermint or maybe a one cookie, we want to do, it's like that. What's your 10%, or your 20%? Your 10% might be that cookie, and once you've had that, you're good. But you want to make sure that you don't deprive yourself so much that you overindulge when you do have sweets. You don't want to overindulge. So if you really feel that you need to have a sweet, take a sweet, but keep your program going. Don't give up. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me, because sometimes people, when they start clearing out and they don't do it gradually, they have withdrawals. And then you want to come back, and next thing you know, you are not on your plan no more, and all of that. So you want to be, just gradually. Exactly, Hilda. You know what? I said the same thing. It started getting expensive. And I'm going to tell you, about 2 months ago, Albertsons, I don't know if you have an Albertsons in your city, but I went to Albertsons, and because I signed up as a member, because we used to shop at Albertsons all the time, my family and I, and they used to always have these good deals. You could go in there and buy breakfast for like $4 or $5, like eggs, what was it? English muffins. I mean, you could get at Albertsons, and now, the prices, yes, they have raised, but they always have something called $5 Fridays. And one day I went, and I believe it was it was back by the holiday a couple of months ago or so, and they had water for 94 cents, and it was limit too. So I got two. 94 cents for a 24 case of bottled water. That was the last time I purchased it. The last time, but it is expensive. And so that's good that you have a filter on your sink, on your sink. And that's good because water is really expensive. And even if you order it, and have it dropped off at your house, you still a fee every month. You still a fee. So a filter actually is a better thing, or a breather pitcher, and you can actually fill up the pitcher, put it in your refrigerator, and the water gets cold. Oh, Culligan. When I lived in San Diego, my family and I, at the time, it was a Culligan man came to our house when we bought our first home. It was, our starter home, as we call it, our first home. And it was a single story, and it was small. And guess what? It was a Culligan man came to our house too to sell us some water. So I know Culligan is still around, because when I go to this one city to get to the outlet mall, they have a building that says Culligan on it. So it's still around, excuse me, even though you don't see it as much anymore. Now, Miss Denise, you're saying that no junk food for you. That's good. If you're not eating junk food, man, I salute you, because I'm going to tell you, I was just sharing a day or two ago how I want a brownie. And I think it was yesterday. And I said that I was going to get me a brownie. When I get that brownie, I'm getting that brownie, because I've been wanting a brownie. Because sometimes you can I did not like brownies, but one time I tried a brownie and it was really, really good. And I haven't found it like that again, but I am going to have a brownie real soon. I just, I take time out to decide when am I going to have that treat. But I like to keep peppermints at my house, and I'm out of them. So I got to go get me some peppermints and go out and look. But I like to keep peppermints at my house. That's a good thing. Like if I feel like I want a snack, I just get a peppermint and put it in, You're trying to lose weight. Well, you know what? I appreciate you over here. Let me tell you something. This is an encouraging channel. This channel is to encourage people. And like I said, you do what you have to do at your own pace, what you're comfortable with. Don't let anyone discourage you, And we've been talking about some good stuff up over here. And I know my videos are long because these chapters are long. And I'm coming from this book, and I want people to have detailed information because it's coming from the Arthritis Foundation. They wrote this book, and it's some good information in this book. And we can all learn something that we do not know, because I've even learned a few things just reading this book. And so I'm sharing it with people that want to get in weight, that want to get in shape, that want to be more healthy, whether you're trying to lose weight, maintain your weight, bring down your glucose, blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides level, you know, whatever you're trying to do, this is a good book to start. And the motto is stick with it, 6 weeks. And you can also break up your 30-minute walk, but put one foot in front of the other if you are able to do that. So we encourage you, and we are praying for you, Miss Denise, that you will make your goals, you will meet your goals on that journey of what you're trying to do. And we definitely encourage you to keep going and to stay motivated. And so now this so anyway, there's also a contract. So this section describes how to do all 6 steps, and at the end of the chapter I'm gonna show you some tools that you can try out as you begin this program. And they have also provided an example of how you fill them out, and we'll revisit your walking contract in chapter 6. Okay. And also there are blank tools in the appendix A, and we can talk about that when we get there, that you can write on a photocopy, which I was saying to you. And after the program is finished, you may want to tailor these tools to support you and continue your walk. And one of the things that I missed telling you is that with this particular book, you can also go to the library and see if your library has this book. Again, I can we'll put the ISBN in there for you, and put the ISBN in there for you, so that if you want to check it out at the library. Again, it's called The Walk with Ease. It was written by the Arthritis Foundation, and they may have the book there where you can make copies of the contracts and things like that. Or if you email me, I can get that to you some kind of way. Excuse me. If you email me, which usually my email is in the description section. So now we want to talk about choosing a suitable walking surface. We only touched a little on it, but this is what the choosing walking surfaces is. Level 1, flat, firm surfaces such as school tracks, streets with sidewalks, shopping malls, fitness trails, or quiet neighborhoods. Most people with arthritis and related conditions should walk on level 1 surfaces. And that's what a level 1 is. Most adaptable for intensity, exertion from low to high intensity as possible, least impact to knees and hips, least challenging to balance. And then there's the level 2. Some inclines or stairs, you know, somewhat uneven ground such as sand, gravel, or soft earth, more challenging in intensity, greater impact to knees and hips, and more challenging to balance. So you want to be careful with that. And then level 3, hills, like a stepper, you know, hills, very uneven ground with very loose gravel or stones, or lots of stairs. Like some people run stadiums, you know, they run up the stair, you know, the stadiums, they do that sometimes. You have to be careful with that as well. Most people with arthritis should avoid level 3 surfaces when walking as a cardiovascular exercise. Most challenging in intensity. The lowest level of exertion is even harder. Greater impact to knees and hips. Most difficult for balance. Now, if you're doing the program as part of a Walk with Ease group, you can discuss your walking plan with other participants and also hear about their plans. And you all can come together if you're in a group. You know, you can come together. Now, if you're just out walking by yourself, then you're going to, of course, pick the best trail or the best surface for yourself, you know, the best surface and the best plan. So you can be a support to each other in carrying out your respective plans. If you're doing the program on your own, you may want to share your plan with a friend or family member who can support your efforts. And when you share that, make sure they are someone that wants to encourage you, that wants to lift you up, and that wants to correct you in love. Make sure they're doing it in love. You don't want any correction that's going to be negative, that's going to be talking down to you, but they do it in love, that they embrace you. My sister or my brother, I want to see you healthy. I want to see you with us. And so I'm encouraging you, you know, that kind of thing. Not somebody that's going to beat you down and talk down to you, because we don't need that. And I'm going to share this quick with you. I was watching a single show yesterday, and this guy, he was like, well, I want a woman that's going to be working out 6 days a week. And if 6 hours a week. And if she doesn't meet 6 hours, then I'm not dating her anymore. And then if we're dating, we have to go back to the beginning of the meetup stage if she misses an hour of working out of the hours of 6 hours. So basically what he was like a controlling person. Very controlling. And he did say, well, if we meet up and I like her and we start dating, but say she doesn't do 6 hours per week, then, and I find out, because he said he had an app on his phone where he can track people. And he was also a trainer, personal trainer. And he said he could track people. So he said that he can track the woman he's dating. And if she doesn't meet those 6 hours per week, then they're going to go back to the stage one of meetup. And I said, no, nobody's going to be playing those games. That's crazy. But that's what he was doing. So I was like, dude, I was like, that's just for entertainment. I don't know who you are going to find that's going to participate in your foolishness, because you are not, no. Anyway, he was 26 and young. And I try to, not say negative stuff, but some of these young people, they say some things that just, let me correct you. We as older people need to guide and teach the younger people. But I didn't say anything, I didn't make no comments. But in my home, in my own personal house, I was making out loud comments about his nonsense. I was doing that, but I was like, no, dude, that's just not how it worked. And the host of the show was like, well, what about if they can't do it or they have children? He was saying how they would have to make up the time, and then plus the other. Oh my God. I was like, dude, no. Okay. So anyway, like, this is the 6 parts of a walking plan. Okay. Set goals and make a contract. Keep records. Use self-tests to measure progress. Check your plan every week. Reward yourself and make a new contract. And when you reward yourself, you could even go probably get a cappuccino. That sounds exciting. Oh my God, I made it. I'm doing well. I'm staying on track. I'm motivated. I haven't missed any time that I've set up for the 3 days. Oh my God. And you are so excited. So you go out and you reward yourself. And it doesn't even have to be a treat. Like edible treat, or a drinking treat. It can be like getting your nails done. It could be going out and buying you a new top or a new blouse or a new pair of walking shorts, to show where you have lost some inches, or something like that, or a new running cap or walking cap, or a new pedometer or watch, something, a fitness watch or something, but, just something simple, a treat for yourself. And so first, think about your goals in doing this program and how long it might take you to accomplish them. Now, 6 weeks, stick with it, is a reasonable time commitment to start with. And that's the framework this book uses. So what you want to accomplish, what is reasonable to expect in 6 weeks. If you have been extremely limited in your activities because of pain or disability, your first goal may be to walk 5 minutes at a time in your own home or around the block each day. So you can actually walk the block before you can start embarking on a trail or a longer journey. Take time out, assess your neighborhood. Is it a good neighborhood to walk around in, or do you live in the city? But if you're in a community, like tract homes, walk around the block. And if you have to stop and take a breath, stop and then start up again. But make sure you get around that block, okay? Unless something happens, make sure you get around the block. And then if you have fallen into inactivity by habit or discomfort, you may be able to start out by walking slowly for 10 minutes at a time, 3 times a week. Okay. And if you're already active, you may be able to go for longer walks, perhaps for 20 minutes or more at a time, at least 3 times a week. And be realistic in your expectations and consider that achieving long-term goals can be the result of achieving several shorter-term steps. Okay, shorter-term steps. For example, many people can't start off by walking for 30 minutes. That's a lot for some people. So 3 times a week, so long-term goal, okay? So remember, you can break it up, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you can actually break it up. But most people can walk for at least a few minutes to begin with. One step in front of the other is an achievable step, okay? And then once you have met your short-term goal, you can set a new one that is more challenging and work on that. That's why I was saying there's levels. You're at this level, now you're at this level. You just keep trying, trying, okay? And the more specific you can be with your plan, the easier it will be to know when you've accomplished your goals. Here are some steps that will help you be specific. Assess yourself honestly. Be honest about what you can do and your ability. Start with where you are. See, Jesus met people where they were. That's what he did. He didn't judge people. He met them where they were. He assessed people. He's sitting high and looking down on us, and he's assessing what's going on down here. He met people where they were. So assess yourself. So meet yourself where you are. There is nothing wrong with meeting yourself where you are. So if you're at a place where you're trying to lose weight, meet yourself where you are. If you're at a place where you've been inactive in activity, meet yourself where you are and be honest with yourself. And then start where you are. Be honest. Don't try to get on a treadmill and run fast up on the advanced level on a treadmill when you know that you need to be at the warm up, cool down section. And I'm just keeping it real, or the that section, because my treadmill is a pro form that I've had for many, many years. And there's levels on my treadmill. And when I run sprints, I run at the advanced level. But when I tone it down, I'm in that I like, and there's another level, but I'll tell you, I like to run in the fat burn level. That is the level that I like to stay at and I'll raise it up. And the reason why is because it burns fat and it helps you. And it has a thing on it where you can, it shows you how many calories you burn, the fat calories and overall calories. So it's very important to assess where you really are and be honest with yourself. You can be honest. No one needs to know about yourself being honest. But when you're honest with yourself, you will be able to reach your goals. And so, and either place is fine if it's appropriate for you. Remember, it has to be appropriate for you. Now, state exactly how much you will do. How much will you do today? How much will you do next week? And once I get done with this book, remember, it's 6 chapters in this book. And so I'm coming on every day to make sure that we get a chapter covered. I know it's long, but this is what I'm giving you all. And you can always go back and look at the video. And if you can't stay on the video, there are people that do have to leave that have other obligations. And so they can still come back and look at the replay. And then there are some people that can listen in whatever they're doing. So that's important, and that's okay too. And so specify as many minutes as you will walk, and you may decide to follow the suggested progression chart, which is included in chapter 5, which we will get to, or you may decide to walk for less or more, depending on your level of readiness. Now, when you're thinking about how much time you will spend each time you walk, don't forget to allow time for your warm up and cool down exercise. You have to allow time for that as well, and state when you will walk again. Now, be specific whether you will walk before breakfast, during your lunch break, which I was explaining how you could do that, or immediately after work, or take an evening walk with the dog. So if you have a dog, and you need to take your dog for a walk, that is a good place also to start as well. Now, state how often you will walk. It usually is best to contract to do something 3 times per week. And if you do more, that's a bonus. All people have days when they don't feel like doing anything or can't. So because other commitments will get in the way. But that doesn't mean you have to stop, and it doesn't mean you have to be discouraged. Now, if you say you will walk 3 or 4 days a week, though, you can probably still meet your contract, even if there are days when you aren't able to do your walk. Now, look at your contract every day. Once you've designed a plan that you're happy with, write the final contract down and post it where you will see it every day. And if you're going in your refrigerator every day, there you are. I have a calendar on the side of my refrigerator. And because I have a counter here and my refrigerator is here, I see that calendar every day. So I know what's on there, what I've written on there, and things like that, and stuff like that. Okay. And and now if you, let's see. And then if you say you will walk, okay, and then you probably still meet your contract, even if there are days where you aren't able to do your walk, okay? Now look at the contract every day. Once you've designed a plan that you're happy with, write the final contract down and post it where you will see it. The contract can be a great tool for you to help you stay focused and on track with your walking program. And then we're going to talk about, we're almost done, you all. We have been in this book and we are almost done with chapter 3. Now, keep a walking diary. Research also shows that keeping records of your weekly activity helps you make and maintain changes in your overall level of physical activity. Some people find that just being able to write down that they have accomplished their daily walking goal is rewarding all by itself. Keeping a diary as part of your walking plan can be simple or elaborate, but it often helps to note what is helping you keep walking, what the challenges are, and how you plan to handle your challenges. Now, one of the things was when I'm running and I say, Lord, I start praying, Lord, I know you're going to allow me to get to the destination. And I will, and that's how I started off. When I got back into really exercising, you know, I would pray and give, and I would set my eye on something, and I would just say, I got to get there. I got to get there. And I would set my eye on it. And I would pray as I go. And Lord, thank you for getting me out here, waking me up. Thank you for this run. I know you're going to get me through it. And I did those things, man. And it was amazing. And I was able to do it. And I found myself running and had no problem running my course and coming back. And I felt so good and so rejuvenated. And even with walking, you can feel good and rejuvenated, because walking, you believe me, once you get into a program of walking, and the more you, the more you stick with it, your level is gonna, you're gonna move up to the next level, and it gets a little more, harder, but you're able to still do it, because now you're at another level. So that's a good thing. So you got to stick with it. And then this is a weekly diary. At the end of this chapter, I'm going to show you to help you keep track of how much you walk, so you can keep an eye on your progress. Use the 6 weeks of this program to experiment. 6 weeks. And when I say 6 weeks, I'm going to say stick with it, right? Find out what works best for you. And in Appendix A, we'll talk about that later on, because right now I just want to get you all through the chapter so that you can embark on your walking journey. Stick with it. 6 weeks. Walk with ease. And then, or for now, as you continue walking after the program ends. And so we're going to do, you can do some self-test measurements as well. Self-test can be a great motivator for sticking with the program, because you can see how the program is helping. Self-test can be very easy to do and not time consuming. So we've already read chapter 1. You probably completed the self-starting self-test. This is the starting point self-test, which we talked about, and you can go look at the video on that. You can take it again. And in fact, we recommend that you do an ending point self-test at the end of week 6 of the program. And there's a place to record your starting point self-test and ending point self-test scores in your walking diary. Also, you can measure your fitness level by measuring the amount of time you're able to walk, or the distance you're able to walk, or take a physical measurement such as your heart rate. And in chapter 5, we're going to get into that. After chapter 4, it has instructions on how to use these 3 fitness tests. And we encourage you, and they encourage you and I encourage you to do fitness tests as part of your walking plan, particularly at the beginning, middle, and end of the 6-week Stick With It program. There is a place to record the date and results in your walking diary. So you want to check your progress regularly, do some self-test measurements, and check your plan. Now, check your plan every week. And is it working? Is your plan that you set up working? If it's not working, you might want to do some modifications to that as well. Now, at the end of each week, take stock of how well your walking program is working. For example, are you feeling less fatigued? Are you enjoying yourself? If you've done a fitness test, do you see changes? Have you managed to do what you planned in your contract? Now, if you're having difficulty, this is a good time to use consultants to help you accomplish your goal. Depending on the problem, motivation, logistics, pain, your consultant may be friends, family, your Walk With Ease leader or fellow participants, or other exercise leaders or healthcare practitioners. Now, then, as with any plan that may need modifying, as I was saying, you may need to modify your plan. Make necessary changes if necessary. Make those changes and decide what worked and what made exercising difficult. So you want to always check and see if it's difficult and why is it difficult for you. If you're lifting weights, slow down some, do less repetitions, and things like that. But always stretch before and after, and do flexibility activities. And that was one of the questions. If anyone remember what flexibility activities are, go back to video 1 or 2 and look at those, what flexibility and things like that are. And remember the FITT and what that stands for. The FITT is up here in the chat. So you want to look at what that stands for up here in this chat. Okay. Now, if you've been making notes, look over your diary for ideas about what helps or gets in the way. You may decide to change the place or time you exercise, your exercise partners, your routes, your pain management strategies, or other things that will make your program more enjoyable and successful. Now, One of the things is that if you're looking at what gets in the way, is it the trail you're on? Is it the type of surface that you're on? Have you seen some dogs or something out there on the trail? Do you live in an area where every now and then you might see coyotes? I live in an area, and depending on where I go walking at on the trail, I used to see a coyote. And at first I thought it was a dog in the distance, and it turned out to be a coyote. I don't like that. And me and a friend and I went to walk, and we saw that same coyote, and it was at the park walking along the fence. And I was like, oh my God. So we went through a community to get away from that coyote. And I've been told they don't bother you. But look, I don't trust man like that. I trust God. And if I'm like that, I'm like, nah. Why would I walk in the path of a coyote when I can go a different route and get away from that coyote? So that's how I was. And then I don't care for other people's dogs. I have a dog, but everybody's dog don't like me, and my dog may not like them. Even though I have a friendly dog, but dogs have teeth, they bite. And I know some people are not very nice people all the time. And some people will, they don't care if, they'll go, oh, my dog is friendly. Well, your dog may be friendly for you, but it may not be friendly to me. And I had to tell this man, do you mind getting your dog? And he was like, my dog. I said, look, respect me and I respect you. That's your dog. You know your dog. I don't know your dog. And I have a dog. And when I see people coming up, I will put my dog on a leash if he was not on the leash, because I want to give my dog a chance to run around. But when I see people in the distance, and we have to have respect and compassionate for other people. We don't know what other people are afraid of and what their phobia is, And so with my dog, and just also it's a law, to have your dog on a leash, the leash law. And so with that being said, I would call my dog and I would call his name. He would come and he would sit down because he knew that I need to put his leash on. He's trained like that. Okay. And so that's how I did it. So this man had his dog and he was like, oh, my dog is friendly. I said, please get your dog, sir. And he finally did, but he wanted to argue with me. And I said, well, I don't think this is up for argument or debate. I just think you need to put your dog on a leash, because if I don't know your dog. And he did. He said he was sorry. And the next time I saw him, he said, he spoke and he said he was sorry about that. And he had put his dog on a leash before he got to me. And I thanked him for that. It was no violence, nothing like that. No Karen moments, no Kevin moments. And everybody, is not going to be like that, because I've read stories where people have allowed their dogs to attack other people. And I'm not down with that. I don't do that. I have respect for other people. We are all human, and we need to treat people with love, kindness, and respect as human beings, because I want to treat people the way I want to be treated. And so if I want to be treated with kindness and respect and dignity, then I certainly have to extend that to other people, because we all have to share the roads. Like when we're driving, we have to share these trails, and we have to share the sidewalk. We have to share communities. Unless we go live somewhere far away where houses is miles and miles away from us, we have to share things. We have to be sharers of one another, whether we know each other and whether we like each other or not. Respect is really important, especially when you're out embarking on this journey of exercising, whether you're riding a bike, you're walking, rollerblading, jogging, skateboarding. We all have to do to get along as we're out here embarking on our exercise journey. So with that being said, you might want to also, what would be a good reward for accomplishing your goals? Write some choices, down, what would be some good rewards, and it doesn't always have to be a sweet treat. Now, because it is important to reward yourself when accomplishing your goals. It's very important to give yourself rewards as you go along, not necessarily with expensive treats or with junk food, but by incorporating things that are pleasant and meaningful to you. Now, you might even go out and buy you a new pair of socks, because you've been on this journey, you met a goal, and now you can go buy you a new pair of workout socks or a cute pair of socks. So if you're a person that wears double socks, you could put on a nice pair of athletic socks to make sure, that you have that comfort in your good walking pair of tennis shoes or, walking shoes. And then buy you a cute pair of socks. They might have a novelty on it, or picture or something, or a saying on it, and put it over your socks. Just something cute. Or you might go buy a new headband or a new wristband, to wipe the sweat off, or whatever you do, something cute, or even some new bands for your hair, or a new headband. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Or, I have a running necklace that I had bought for myself, because I rewarded myself about 2 years ago, and my earring, one of them broke the little back, and I have to go get it soldered back on because I don't know how to solder. I don't have it, to solder, the equipment to do it. But I have a running necklace that I usually have, that I wear, because that was a treat for me, being that I was accomplishing a lot of my goals, when I was, out running every day, because I used to go running every single day until I shared with you all that I had hurt my foot. So I was like, okay. And I ran on it while it was still hurt. So every now and then when I run, I can't run every day anymore. I run 2 times a week or 3, but I stop because I have to assess, where I'm at with my level of pain when I'm out running. So that's why I appreciate being able to walk, power walk and get that in. And so anyway, let's see. Meeting your goals and sticking with the program is worth celebrating. So let me tell you something. When you meet your goal, celebrate. Give yourself a hand clap of praise and celebrate and thank God, and give him the celebration of hand clap of praise also for getting you there to meet your goal and stick with it 6 weeks. And then we recommend that you plan a midday reward after you've been walking for 3 weeks, and another reward at the end of the program, because you want to see results. So in the midday and then at the end. And there are many ways to mix rewards into your walking program. For example, if you enjoy watching TV in the evening, you might put it off until after you walk, okay? And then the pleasurable act of watching your favorite program turns into a reward for accomplishing your daily goal, because you don't want to sit on the couch all day and become sedentary, and you don't want to sit in front of a computer all day. Get away from the computer. And if you are a person that works and has to sit in front of a computer like most of us do, you want to get away from that computer, and walking is a good way to get away from the computer and get out of the house. Or if you are working at an office, because some people still work from home, some people do hybrid, and then some people are back at the office. Okay. And so treats could be anything from a new exercise book to a sunrise walk with a special friend. Going on a sunrise walk is really, really fun. It's exciting. It's good. You get to see the sun come up, and you can even pray with each other as you're doing that walk and the sun comes up. It is so amazing to see the sun come up. And even when it's going down, it is so beautiful. When I walk, do my power walks and runs in the evening, let me tell you, it is amazing to see the sun, how it just sets, and it's so beautiful. And then also congratulate yourself with that special treat for your completion of your contract. For example, the new pair of walking shoes, or the celebratory healthy dinner, like a nice salad. Think of things that will be pleasurable to you and plan to give yourself some of these at intervals throughout your contract. Or you can have salmon, baked salmon, with some asparagus that's fixed very well and flavorful. Oh my God, or some leafy greens, man, that they cooked in the skillet and kind of soften up, or spinach. I'm just saying, some really good, a really good healthy meal. Doesn't necessarily always have to be salad, but it can be some other healthy meals that you know how to prepare, or you take yourself out to dinner, to meet your goals. And then make a new contract. At the end of your 6-week contract period for the Walk with Ease program, stick with it 6 weeks, assess your progress, and make a new contract based on your new or continuing goals. In your 6-week diary, in your week 6 diary, we've added questions to help you review all of 6 weeks of your program. So they've added questions. And to make a new contract, simply follow the basics for planning outlined in the chapter. Do remember to set a specific time period, 6 weeks or maybe a little longer, during which you keep an eye on your progress and give yourself small rewards. And at the end of that time, make a new contract. Remember, your aim is to continue with a lifetime of walking. So here we are with the self-check right here. The self-check. This is the self-check knowledge, and it's going to be yes or no. You circle yes or no. I know how to select appropriate equipment for walking, including shoes, socks, clothing, and any aids I need. So each chapter is going to have a self-check, test your knowledge. And then number 2, I can describe the FITT principles of walking. Yes or no. And I understand the components and process for making a realistic and achievable walking plan. Yes or no. Can you do that? Then you're going to rate your confidence level on a scale of 0 to 10. Being not confident at all is 0, and 10 being totally confident. So I feel confident that I can apply the FITT principles to my walking program. Not confident at all, 0. Totally confident, 10. I feel confident that I can use my weekly diary and my contract to set goals and keep track of my progress. Not confident at all, 0, up to 10, totally confident. And then I feel confident that I can walk and exercise at my own pace, building up to at least 30 minutes on 3 days or more per week. Not confident at all, 0. Totally confident, up to 10. So between these numbers, 0 and 10, there's 1 through 9 between 0 and 10. So if you could answer yes to the statements above, is your confidence level 7 or more? If so, congratulations. You're ready to move on. Now, each of the statements refers back to the section in the chapter as we discussed at the end of each chapter. So if you answered no to any of the items, you may wish to go back to that section and review. And if your confidence is low, review the sections you're not sure about where you have reservations. And you can also share questions or concerns with your friends. If you friends who have arthritis and walk with or your healthcare practitioner. And if you're in a Walk with Ease program, stick with it 6 weeks. We recommend that you share your questions or concerns with your group leader and fellow participants. So you don't have to have arthritis to be in this program, but this is a very good book because there's a lot of people that suffer with arthritis, with the rheumatoid or osteoarthritis or fibromyalgia, fibromyalgia. Okay. So you want to be very careful. That's a tongue twister for me this morning, but you want to be very careful with, with this, especially if you do, have arthritis, but it doesn't prevent you or limit you. And also be careful again about if you have had a hip replacement or knee replacement, there are things that you may or may not be able to do. And you want to be careful with stretches and, and the impact that you put on your body. So I want to show you a sample contract and a sample walking diary. And remember, you might be able to find this book at a library. I don't know, but it should be at a library in the exercise section. If you don't know, when you go to your local library, ask them and tell them the book is Walk with Ease. It was written by the Arthritis Foundation, and they should be able to help you. Now, here's the sample contract right here. This is the sample contract right here where I'm pointing to with my finger, the sample contract right here. You might not be able to see it that well, but it's right there. And then this one right here is the diary one right here, sample walking diary on this page right here, okay? And so the sample contract basically is you're going to put your date when you're going to start from this date to that date for 6 weeks now. Stick with it, 6 weeks. And you put your name there, your first and last name. You plan to walk how many days a week? It should be at least 3 for 30 minutes, or how many distance, a mile, 2 miles, 1 up and 1 back, and broken into 2 to 15 minute sessions. If you can't do 30 all at once, you can break it up, or you can do 3 10-minute sessions. Okay. And I plan to walk. What time do you plan to walk? Is it the first thing in the morning, lunchtime, lunch break, or in the evening after dinner? So you're going to put time of day at lunch, after dinner. And what will you do? You will spend 3 to 5 minutes warming up and 4 to 5 minutes doing warm-up exercises, warm-up stretches, and 3 to 5 minutes cooling down, and 7 to 9 minutes doing cool down stretches. Okay. So when I get halfway through this program, week 3, my reward to myself will be. And so you want to put down what your reward is going to be. It could be dinner at a new vegetarian restaurant with friends. It could be a new a book, or a new pair of socks, new shoestrings. You might want to dress up your tennis shoes, new headband, new arm wristband, something like that. And when I complete this program, my reward to myself will be. Now, it could be a backpack. Hey, I got a new backpack, or a new water bottle, a new fanny pack, a new hoodie, a new cap, beanie or something, and you sign it. And then your diary going to be, what is your goal? Total minutes or total distance for the week? How did I do each day? So if you go on a Monday and you say Sunday is my day of rest. So you go on a Monday, I did 15 minutes in the morning and I did 15 in the evening. And then Wednesday, I did 15 minutes morning, 10 minutes evening. Friday, no morning, 15 minutes at lunch, 15 minutes at dinner. And then your starting point, self-test pain. What level did you have pain, and what level was your pain at? Did you have fatigue? What level did you feel your fatigue was at? And then was there any physical limitations? And what's helping keep you walking? What is your motivation? Is it your buddy? Is it losing 2 pounds? Is it feeling happier? Is it de-stressing you? What is it doing? Have you lost weight? Are you maintaining your weight? Have you lost some inches? Are you able to fit in that dress, that your favorite dress or your favorite workout pants or slacks? Because remember, if your workout clothes is too tight, you don't want to do that. You want comfortable workout clothes. So if you have some favorite workout pants or tights that are too tight because you've gained weight, then you want to lose that weight. And if you can fit back in it, and you can try it on as you go on your journey to see, hey, what am I doing? Those pair of pants I used to could wear, I can't wear, but now that I've done 3 weeks of walking, let me try these pants on. Oh my God, they're getting looser. Those are things that are so important and we get excited about, right? Or your favorite t-shirt or top that got too tight around your bosom area or in your arms, and now you can wear it and it's loose. That kind of stuff makes us excited, especially as women, to be able to fit back in the clothes that we love and favorite dresses and slacks or tops. I mean, that's amazing. So that's a good thing. Or a favorite skirt, that you couldn't fit in and now you can fit in because you are back on your journey of walking every day. And the thing about walking is, it's not hard to do. You just put one foot, get dressed, put your shoes on, your good socks, shoes, put one foot in front of the other, you're out the door. And you're walking. You don't have to go, oh my God, I got to get to the gym and I got to wait on the treadmill. I got to wait on the stepper. I got to wait on the climber. I got to wait on the bikes. I got to wait on that weight machine. You don't have to deal with all of that when you're actually walking. And if you do have some weights at your house, you can do them at home. And if you have a punching bag, I have a punching bag that was bought for me as a gift. And I have some punching gloves. So that also helps, when you're punching. If you're able to punch. So those are good things to help you along the way. Now, and what's been a challenge for me to keep walking? So what is your challenges? Do you have any challenge? Like you got home late from work on a Wednesday, or it was bad weather in the morning on Friday, but you made it up at lunch where it stopped raining. You said, no, it's not raining out there now, so I'm getting ready to put on my walking shoes and get going. You know what I'm saying? Or if you have a treadmill at home, get on the treadmill, get on the bike. Don't say, well, I'm not going to walk today because it's raining. But if you have equipment at home, try to do something at home. And then what information do you need to help you handle the challenges, and where can you get it? Well, we need to find some nice indoor places to walk when it's bad out, or you need to put my walking schedule on my calendar and treat it like an important appointment. Okay. And so here is a blank contract. That was just a sample, but these are the blank contracts right here. And there's more, you're going to do more than one walking diary, thinking about the 6 weeks. So these are just blank. And then we have actually made it through chapter 4. Made it through chapter 3. We have made it through chapter 3. And tomorrow we will be talking about chapter 4. And this is anticipating and overcoming barriers. Okay. And so this is chapter 4. So we are getting through this book. And chapter 4, again, is going to be probably pretty where we're at. We're just going to have to stick with it. And if we really want to get where we're going, we are going to be talking about chapter 4. And then walking with ease is in chapter 5, where we will get there. And then guess what? And it talks about some female problems in here as well. And then we will be at chapter 6. Okay. And that is a good thing. That is good news. So I want to thank you for tuning in. Oh, thank you so much, Heal the Land. Thank you. Thank you. Have an amazing day. It's my pleasure. And so tomorrow we'll be at chapter 4, anticipating and overcoming barriers. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you all on today. Peace in the storm of whatever you might be dealing with, or your loved ones. Continue to pray for them. Continue to be uplifting and read the word of God. I know that you will. And just be at peace. Be at peace and stay away from the chaos. Man, it is time for us to make a change. And if we've been visiting channels that are disruptive, distractive, We have got to get back on track and take care of ourselves, because nobody else is going to take care of us the way we can take care of ourselves. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to like the video, share it with someone else, maybe with coworkers that are wanting to get in the program. Share it with coworkers, share it with family members, share it with whoever you can. I truly will appreciate that. And don't forget to thumbs up the button. And again, God bless you all on today.